Hey, what is going on? Of course, it is me, Amira Blaze, and welcome back to another episode of Book Shade for all my bookish freaks out there. So guys, for today's episode, I know I have not done Book Shade in a long time, but guys, I have been supremely busy with work, number one, and then number two, guys, I have been making so many updates and changes to the show. So what I decided to do, guys, is number one, I am also going to be focusing on doing reviews and critiques of what they like to call the hot and steamy romance books. And guys, I like my romance books just really just naughty and just hot and just really steamy. And guys, I have a book that I'm currently reading right now that, guys, it made me so hot that I had to work out to cool down. So that's what we're gonna be doing. But this was highly requested, like highly requested. I have never gotten so many requests to do what I'm about to do in today's episode of Book Shade, guys. And what we're gonna be doing is, this is what I like to call hot and steamy romance reading out loud. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, guys, is I'm going to be picking some of the hottest and like steamiest romance books that I have in my collection and in my book collection, and I am going to be narrating them the way that I do. So this was highly requested. I have had so many of you bookish freaks tell me, hey Amira, you got to read out loud 50 Shades of Grey. So guys, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna start it off with chapter 1 of 50 Shades of Grey. So what I'm gonna do at the beginning of every episode that I do this for, we're gonna just go over the synopsis just to kind of give you a gist of what the story is about. Okay, so when literature student Anastasia Steele goes to interview young entrepreneur Christian Grey, she encounters a man who is beautiful, brilliant, and intimidating. The unworldly, innocent Anna is startled to realize she wants this man, and despite his erratic reserve, finds that she is desperate to get close to him. Unable to resist Anna's quiet beauty, wit, and independent spirit, Grey admits he wants her too, but on his own terms. So guys, without further ado, let me do my narration of me reading out loud chapter 1 of 50 Shades of Grey. And we're gonna do the whole trilogy plus the 2 new books that came out recently, which is Grey and Darker, which is the retelling of 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker by Christian Grey. Now you're probably wondering, hey Amira, what's this number in the upper left hand corner? You know what this number is, guys? It is my heart rate. So strapped to my body right now, I actually have a heart rate monitor on, and this heart rate monitor is going to be my it's going to be my steam level. So you guys will see in real time how hot and bothered these books, these romance books, make me. Okay, and I got my water here. I got some warm water just because I may need to, clear my throat, because when you're reading a lot like this, you need something to warm up your throat. So I've already drank a little something, some warm water is what I have. And all right guys, let's get started with chapter 1. This is my reading out loud of 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. So let's get to it here. So, Chapter 1. I scowl with frustration at myself in the mirror. Damn, my hair, it just won't behave. And damn Catherine Canova for being ill and subjecting me to this ordeal. I should be studying for my final exams, which are next week. And yet, here I am trying to brush my hair into submission. I must not sleep with it wet. I must not sleep with it wet. Reciting this mantra several times, I attempt once more to bring it under control with the brush. I roll my eyes in exasperation and gaze at the pale brown-haired girl with blue eyes too big for her face, staring back at me, and give up. My only option is to restrain my wayward hair in a ponytail and hope I look semi-presentable. Kate is my roommate, and she has chosen today of all days to succumb to the flu. Therefore, she cannot attend the interview she arranged to do with some mega industrialist tycoon I've never heard of for the student newspaper. So I have been volunteered. I have final exams to cram for one easy essay to finish. I'm supposed to be working this afternoon, but no, today I have to drive 165 miles to downtown Seattle in order to meet the enigmatic CEO of Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. As an exceptional entrepreneur and major benefactor of our university, his time is extraordinarily precious, much more precious than mine. But he has granted Kate an interview. A real coup, she tells me. Damn, her extracurricular activities. And of course, we have Deborah is back for more of the program here. Thank you for checking out the show, of course. But hey, as you can see, I am just getting woo-hoo-hoo, super hot here, right? But all right, guys, let's get to it here. Kate is huddled on the couch in the living room. Anna, I'm sorry. It took me 9 months to get this interview. It'll take me another 6 to reschedule. And we'll both have graduated by then. As editor, I can't blow this off. Please. Kate begs me in her rasping, sore throat voice. How does she do it? Even ill, she looks gamine and gorgeous. Strawberry blonde hair in place and green eyes, bright, although now red-rimmed and runny. I ignore the pang of my unwelcomed sympathy. Unwelcome sympathy. There we go. Of course I'll go, Kate. You should go back to bed. Would you like some NyQuil or Tylenol? NyQuil, please. Here are the questions and my digital recorder. Just press record here. Make notes and I'll transcribe it all. I know nothing about him, I murmur, trying and failing to suppress my rising panic. The questions will see you through. It's a long drive, and I don't want you to be late. Okay, I'm going. Get back to bed. I made you some soup to heat up later. I stare at her fondly. Only for you, Kate, would I do this. I will. Good luck. And thanks, Anna. As usual, you're my lifesaver. Gathering my backpack, I smile wryly at her and then head out the door to the car. I cannot believe I have let Kate talk me into this. But then Kate can talk anyone into anything. She'll make an exceptional journalist. She's articulate, strong, persuasive, argumentative, beautiful, and she's my dearest friend. So, all right, let me get some hot water here. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh, that feels so good. All right. Let's continue here. The roads are clear as I set off from Vancouver. Vancouver, Washington. There we go. towards Interstate 5. It's early, and I don't have to be in Seattle until 2 this afternoon. Unfortunately, Kate has lent me her Sporty's Mercedes CLK. I'm not sure Wanda, my old VW Beetle, would make the journey in time. Oh, the Merc is a fun drive, and the miles slip away as I hit the pedal to the metal. My destination is the headquarters of Mr. Gray's global enterprise. It's a huge 20-story office building, all curved glass and steel. An architect's utilitarian fantasy, with Gray House written discreetly in steel over the glass front doors. It's 1:45 when I arrive, greatly relieved that I'm not late as I walk into the enormous and frankly intimidating glass, steel, and white sandstone lobby. Behind the solid sandstone desk, a very attractive, groomed, blonde young woman smiles pleasantly at me. She's wearing the sharpest coal suit jacket and white shirt I have ever seen. She looks immaculate. I'm here to see Mr. Gray, Anastasia Steele, for Catherine Canova.
Excuse me, one moment, Miss Steele.
She arches her eyebrow, and I stand self-consciously before her. I'm beginning to wish I had borrowed one of Kate's former blazers rather than oh my gosh, guys, it's been a long day. I have made an effort and worn my one and only skirt, my sensible brown knee-length boots, and a blue sweater. For me, this is smart. I tuck one of the escaped tendrils of my hair behind my ear as I pretend she doesn't intimidate me.
Miss Canova is expected. Please sign here, Miss Steele.
I had to do it like that.
You want the last elevator on the right. Press for the 12th floor.
She smiles kindly at me, amused, no doubt, as I sign in. She hands me a security pass that has visitor very firmly stamped on the front. Excuse me here. I just ate, guys, so I have a little indigestion going on. Okay. I can't help my smirk. Surely it's obvious that I'm just visiting. I don't fit in here at all. Nothing changes. I inwardly sigh. Thanking her, I walk over to the bank of elevators and past the two security men who are both far smartly dressed than I am in their well-cut black suits. The elevator whisks me at the terminal velocity to the 12th floor. The doors slide open, and I'm in another large lobby. Again, all glass, steel, and white sandstone. I'm confronted by another desk of sandstone and another young blonde woman, this time dressed impeccably in black and white, who rises to greet me.
Miss Steele, could you wait here, please?
She points to a seated area of white leather chairs. Behind the leather chairs is a spacious glass wall meeting room with an equally spacious dark wood table and at least 20 matching chairs around it. Beyond that, there is a floor-to-ceiling window with a view of the Seattle skyline, and that looks out through the city towards the Sound. It's a stunning vista, and I momentarily paralyzed by the view. Wow. That's a nice view, I gotta say. Keep it real here. I sit down, Guys, I'm still getting used to reading this out loud, so I'll get better with time. I sit down, fish the questions from my backpack, and I go through them, inwardly cursing Kate for not providing me with a brief biography. I know nothing about this man I'm about to interview. He could be 90 or he could be 30. The uncertainty is galling, and my nerves resurface, making me fidget. I've never been comfortable with one-on-one interviews, preferring the anonymity of a group discussion where I can sit inconspicuously at the back of the room. To be honest, I prefer my own company, reading a classic British novel, curled up in a chair in the campus library, not sitting twitching nervously in a colossal glass and stone edifice. I roll my eyes at myself. Get a grip, Steele. Judging from the building, which is too cynical or clinical, cynical. Oh my gosh, guys. Too cynical and modern. I guess Gray is in his 40s, fit, tan, and fair-haired to match the rest of the personnel. Another elegant, flawless dressed blonde comes out of a large door to the right. What is with all the immaculate blondes? It's like Stefford here. Taking a deep breath, I stand up.
Miss Steele?
The latest blonde asks. Yes? I croak and clear my throat. Yes, there. That sounded more confident.
Miss Gray, or Mr. Gray, will see you in a moment. May I have your jacket?
Oh, please. I struggle out of the jacket.
Have you been offered any refreshments?
No. Oh, dear. Is blonde number 1 in trouble? Blonde number 2 frowns and eyes the young woman at the desk.
Would you like tea, coffee, water?
I had to say it like that, guys. She asks, turning her attention back to me. A glass of water, thank you, I murmured.
Olivia, please fetch Miss Steele a glass of water.
Her voice is stern. Olivia scoots up and scurries to a door on the other side of the foyer.
My apologies, Miss Steele. Olivia is our new intern. Please be seated. Mr. Gray will be another 5 minutes.
Olivia returns with a glass of iced water. Here you go, Miss Steele. Thank you. Blonde number 2 marches over to the large desk, her heels clicking and echoing to the sandstone floor. She sits down and they both continue their work. Perhaps Mr. Gray insists on all of his employees being blonde. I'm wondering idly if that's legal when the office door opens and a tall, elegantly dressed, attractive African-American man with short dreads exits. I have definitely worn the wrong clothes. So good, guys, to have warm water while you're doing this. Very important. Excuse me. He turns and says through the door, "Golf this week, Gray?" I don't hear the reply. He turns, sees me, and smiles, his dark eyes crinkling at the corners. Olivia has jumped up and called the elevator. She seems to excel at jumping from her seat. She's more nervous than me. Good afternoon, ladies, he says as he departs through the sliding door. I had to say it like that.
Mr. Gray will see you now. Miss Steele, do go through.
Blonde number 2 says. I stand rather shakily, trying to suppress my nerves. Gathering my backpack, I abandon my glass of water and make my way through the partially open door.
You don't need to knock. Just go in,
she says kindly. I push open the door and stumble through, tripping over my own feet and falling headfirst into the office. Double crap, me and my 2 left feet. I am on my hands and knees in the doorway to Mr. Gray's office, and gentle hands are around me, helping me to stand. I am so embarrassed. Damn my clumsiness. I have to steel myself to glance up. Holy cow, he's so young. Miss Canova. He extends a long-fingered hand to me once I'm upright. I'm Christian Grey. Are you all right? Would you like to sit? So young. And attractive. Very attractive. He's tall, dressed in a fine gray suit, white shirt, and black tie with unruly dark copper colored hair and intense bright gray eyes that regard me shrewdly. It takes a moment for me to find my voice. Actually, I mutter, if this guy is over 30, then I'm a monkey's uncle. In a daze, I place my hand in his and we shake. As our fingers touched, I feel an odd, exhilarating shiver run through me. I withdraw my hand hastily, embarrassed. Must be static. I blink rapidly, my eyelids matching my heart rate. I'm gonna be mixing up voices here, guys. Oh my gosh. Miss Canova is indisposed, so she sent me. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grey. And you are. His voice is warm, possibly amused, but it's difficult to tell from his impassive expression. He looks mildly interested, but above all, polite. Anastasia Steele, I'm studying English literature with Kate, Catherine, Miss Canova at WSU Vancouver. I see, he says simply. I think I see the ghost of a smile in his expression, but I'm not sure. Would you like to sit? He waves me towards a L-shaped white leather couch. His office is way too big for just one man. In front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, there's a modern dark wood desk. 6 people could comfortably eat around. It matches the coffee table by the couch. Everything else is white, ceilings, floors, and walls, except for the wall by the door. So sorry guys, I'm like yawning here. It's been a long day, y'all. Where a mosaic of small paintings hang. 36 of them arranged in a square. They are exquisite. A series of mundane, forgotten objects paint in such a precise detail. They look like photographs. Displayed together, they are breathtaking. A local artist, Truden, says Gray when he catches my gaze. They're lovely, raising the ordinary to extraordinary. I murmur, distracted both by him and the paintings. He cocks his head to one side and regards me intently. I couldn't agree more, Miss Steele. He replies, his voice soft, and for some inexplicable reason, I find myself blushing. Apart from the paintings, the rest of the office is cold, clean, and clinical. I wonder if it reflects the personality of the Adonis, who sinks gracefully in one of the white leather chairs opposite of me. I shake my head, disturbed at the direction of my thoughts. and retrieve Kate's questions from my backpack. Next, I set up the digital recorder, and I'm all fingers and thumbs, dropping it twice on the coffee table in front of me. Mr. Gray says nothing, waiting patiently. I hope, as I become increasingly embarrassed and flustered. When I pluck up the courage to talk to him, he's watching me, one hand relaxed in his lap, and the other cupping his chin and trailing his long index finger across his lips. I think he's trying to suppress a smile. Sorry, I stutter. I'm not used to this. Take all the time you need, Miss Steele, he says. Do you mind if I record your answers? After you've taken so much trouble to set up the recorder, you ask me now? I flush. He's teasing me, I hope. I blink at him, unsure what to say, and I think he takes pity on me because he relents. No, I don't mind. Did Kate, Miss Canova, explain what the interview was for? Yes, to appear in the graduation issue of the student newspaper. I shall be conferring the degrees at this year's graduation ceremony. Oh, this was news to me, and I'm temporarily preoccupied by the thought that someone not much older than me, okay, maybe 6 years or so, and okay, mega successful, but still, is going to present me with my degree. I frown, dragging my wayward attention back to the task at hand. Good. I swallow nervously. I have some questions, Mr. Gray. I smooth a stray lock of hair behind my ear. I thought you might, he says, deadpan. He's laughing at me. My cheeks heat at the realization, and I sit up and square my shoulders in an attempt to look taller and more intimidating. You're very young to have masked such an empire. To what do you owe your success? I glance up at him. His smile is rueful, but his looks vaguely disappointed. Man, I'm having fun with this, guys. Woo! Let me know, guys, what you think about this. And if there's other books that you want me to read out loud that's like, hot and steamy romance books, I'll do it, y'all. All right, hey, we have Tina. Hey, Tina, welcome back to the program. How you doing? I am doing this very highly requested, me reading out loud the complete trilogy plus Darker and Gray, which is the retelling of the first two books in this series called 50 Shades of Grey. We have Painted Harlot. No, Painted Harlot says she had to take a drink and things are getting steamy. Yeah, my heart rate is muy caliente. Okay, por favor. All right. Oh my gosh, it is getting hot in here, or is it just me? Something, guys, about a tall, just dark, handsome with the sexy. It's just, you see my heart rate, guys. It's going up. Just the thought of a man like that on me is enough. It's enough. Yes, squad. Okay. So, all right. Let's continue here because things about to go down. It's about to go down. And Painted Harlot says, yeah, once again, things are getting steamy. Oh, Guys, we are just at the beginning. I don't know what I'm gonna do once we get to the sex scene. Once we get to the sex scenes, I'm gonna have to pray and be like, God, please forgive me. But all right, guys, let's continue here in chapter 1 of me reading out loud 50 Shades of Grey. So guys, it's gonna be so much fun, man. Like, there's some books, guys, that are just so hot and steamy. Y'all gonna be like clutching your pearls and shit. All right. Okay. Business is all about people, Miss Steele, and I'm very good at judging people. I know how they tick, what makes them flourish and what doesn't, what inspires them, and how to incentivize them. I employ an exceptional team, and I reward them well. He pauses and fixes me with his gray stare. My belief is to achieve success in any scheme, one has to make oneself master of that scheme. Know it inside and out, know every detail. I work hard, very hard, to do that. I make decisions based on logic and facts. I have a natural gut instinct that can spot and nurture a good solid idea and good people. The bottom line, it's always down to good people. Maybe you're just lucky. This isn't on Kate's list, but he's so arrogant. His eyes flare momentarily in surprise. I don't subscribe to luck or chance, Miss Steele. The harder I work, or guys, I'm gonna be mixing this shit up because I'm doing so many voices. Like, now I know how it's like to be like an audiobook narrator, because it's like, how do you keep track of all these characters' voices? It's like crazy, y'all. All right, here we go. I don't subscribe to luck or chance, Miss Steele. The harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. It's really all about having the right people on your team and directing their energies accordingly. I think it was Harvey Firestone who said, "The growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership." You sound like a control freak. The words are out of my mouth before I can stop them. Oh, I exercise control in all things, Miss Steele. He says, without a trace of humor in his smile. I look at him, and he folds his gaze steadily, impassive. My heartbeat quickens, and my face flushes again. Why does he have this unnerving effect on me? His overly whelming good looks, maybe? The way his eyes blaze at me? The way he strokes his index finger against his lower lip? I wish he stopped doing that. Besides, the immense power is acquired by assuring yourself in your secret reveries that you were born to control things. He continues, his voice soft. Do you feel that you have immense power? Control freak. I employ over 40,000 people, Miss Steele. That gives me a certain sense of responsibility, power, if you will. And if I were to decide I was no longer interested in the telecommunications business and sell, 20,000 people would struggle to make their mortgage payments after a month or so. My mouth drops open. I am staggered by his lack of humility. Don't you have a board to answer to? I asked, disgusted. Excuse me here, guys. I have a lot of indigestion today. It's terrible. Excuse me here. I own my own company. I don't have to answer to a board. He raises his eyebrow at me. Of course, I wouldn't know this if I had done some research. But holy crap, he's arrogant. I changed my tack. And do you have any interests outside of your work? I have varied interests, Miss Steele. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. Very varied. And for some reason, I'm confounded and heated by his steady gaze. His eyes are alight with some wicked thought. But if you work so hard, what do you do to chill out? Chill out. He smiles, revealing perfect white teeth. I stop breathing. He's really, no. He really is beautiful. No one should be this good looking. Well, to chill out, as you put it, I sail, I fly, I indulge in various physical pursuits. I'm sure you do, bitch. He shifts in his chair. I'm a very wealthy man, Miss Steele, and I have expensive and absorbing hobbies. I glanced quickly at Kate's questions, wanting to get off of this subject. You invest in manufacturing. Why specifically? I asked. Why does he make me so uncomfortable? I like to build things. I like to know how things work, what make things tick, how to construct and deconstruct. And I have a love of ships. What can I say? That sounds like your heart talking rather than logic and facts. His mouth quirks up and he stares appraisingly at me. Possibly, though there are people who say I don't have a heart. Why would they say that? Because they know me well. His lips curl into a wild smile. Would your friends say that you're easy to know? And I regret the question. As soon as I say it, it's not on Kate's list. I'm a very private person, Miss Steele. I go a long way to protect my privacy. I don't often give interviews. Why did you agree to this one? Because I'm a benefactor of a university, and for all intents and purposes, I couldn't get Miss Canova off my back. She badgered my PR people, and I admire that kind of tenacity. I know how tenacious Kate can be. That's why I'm sitting here squirming uncomfortably under his penetrating gaze, when I should be studying for my exams. You also invest in farming technologies. Why are you interested in that area? We can't eat money, Miss Steele, and there are too many people on this planet who don't have enough to eat. That sounds very philanthropic. Is it something you feel passionate about? Feeding the world's poor? He shrugs non-committedly. It's a shrewd business, he murmurs, though I think he's being disingenuous. It doesn't make sense. feeding the world's poor. I can't see the financial benefit of this, only the virtue of the ideal. I glance at the next question, confused by his attitude. Do you have a philosophy? If so, what is it? I don't have a philosophy as such. Maybe a guiding principle. Carnegie's. A man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he's justly entitled. I am very singular, driven. I like control of myself and those around me. So you want to possess things. You are a control freak. I want to deserve to possess them. But yes, the bottom line, I do. You sound like the ultimate consumer. I am. He smiles, but the smile doesn't touch his eyes. Again, this at odds with someone who wants to feed the world. So I can't help but think that we're talking about something else, but I'm mystified as to what is. I swallow hard. The temperature in the room is rising, or maybe it's just me. I just want this interview to be over. Sure, Kate has enough material for now. I glance at the next question. Ooh, this is getting good, bitch. It's going down. I can feel the heat on me right now. And it's not this water. Good God. Excuse me here, guys. You were adopted. How much do you think that shaped the way you are? Oh, this is personal. I stare at him, hoping he's not offended. His brow furrows. I have no way of knowing. My interest is piqued. How old were you when you were adopted? That's a matter of public record, Miss Steele. His tone was stern. Crap. Yes, of course. If I had known I was doing this interview, I would have done some research. So sorry, guys. It's been a long day for yours truly here. Flustered, I move on quickly. You've had to sacrifice family life for your work. That's not a question. He's terse. Sorry. I squirm. He's made me feel like an errant child. I try again. Have you had to sacrifice family life for your work? I have a family. I have a brother and sister and 2 loving parents. I'm not interested in extending my family beyond that. This is my favorite part. Are you gay, Mr. Gray? And Painted Harlot says, Mama needs to lubricate. Okay, I've been lubricating this throat the whole time. Good God. Okay, let me lubricate again. Woo. I hope you guys have been really enjoying this, because I love doing this type of stuff. He inhales sharply, and I cringe, mortified. Crap. Why didn't I employ some kind of filter before I read this? Straight out. How can I tell him I'm just reading the questions? Damn Kate and her curiosity. No, Anastasia, I'm not. He raises his eyebrows, and a cool gleam in his eyes. He does not look pleased. I apologize. It's written here. That's the way I would do it. I'd be like, it's written here. It's the first time he said my name. My heartbeat has accelerated. My cheeks are heating up again. Nervously, I tuck my loosened hair behind my ear. He cocks his head to one side. These aren't your questions. The blood drains from my head. No, Kate, I mean, Miss Canova. She compiled the questions. Are you colleagues on the student newspaper? Oh no, I have nothing to do with the student newspaper. It's her extracurricular activities. My face is aflame. No, she's my roommate. He rubs his chin in quiet deliberation. I just want to make sure. Okay, we got one more page here. His gray eyes appraising me. Did you volunteer to do this interview? He asked, his voice deadly quiet. Hang on, who's supposed to be interviewing who? His eyes burn on to me, and I'm compelled to answer with the truth. I was drafted. She's not well. My voice is weak and apologetic. That explains a great deal. That's my knock right there. There's a knock at the door. Blonde number 2 enters.
Mr. Gray, forgive me for interrupting, but your next meeting is in 2 minutes.
We're not finished here, Andrea. Please, cancel my next meeting. Andrea hesitates, gaping at him. She appears lost. He turns his head to slowly face her and raises his eyebrows. She flushed a bright pink. Oh good, it's just not me.
Very well, Mr. Gray.
She mutters, then exits. She frowns and then turns his attention back to me. Where were we, Miss Steele? Oh, we're back to Miss Steele now. Please, don't let me keep you from anything. I want to know about you. I think that's only fair. His eyes alight with curiosity. Double crap. Where's he going with this? He places his elbows on the arm of the chair and steeples his fingers in front of his mouth. His mouth is very distracting. I swallow. There's not much to know. What are your plans after you graduate? I shrug, thrown by his interest. Move to Seattle with Kate, find a job. I haven't really thought beyond my finals. I haven't made any plans, Mr. Gray. I just need to get through my final exams, which I should be studying for right now, rather than sitting in your palatal, swanky, sterile office, feeling uncomfortable under your penetrating gaze. We run an excellent internship program here, he says quietly. I raise my eyebrows in surprise. Is he offering me a job? Oh, I'll bear that in mind, I murmured, confounded, though I'm not sure I fit in here. Oh no, I must be musing out loud again. Why do you say that? He tilts his head to one side. Intrigued, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. It's obvious, isn't it? I'm uncoordinated, scruffy, and I'm not blonde. Not to me. His gaze is intense, all humor gone, and strange muscles deep in my belly clench suddenly. I tear my eyes away from his scrutiny and stare blindly down at my knotted fingers. What's going on? I have to go. Now. I lean forward to retrieve the recorder. Would you like me to show you around? He asked. I'm sure you're far too busy, Mr. Gray. And I do have a long drive. You're driving back to Vancouver. He sounds surprised, anxious even. He glances out the window and it's begun to rain. Well, you better drive carefully. His tone, there we go. His tone is stern, authoritative. Why should he care? Did you get everything you need? He adds. Yes, sir, I reply, packing the recorder into my backpack. So sorry, guys. Next time, I'll make sure I get enough sleep, damn it. Oh my gosh. There we go. Sorry, guys. Man, I'll make sure I don't eat and then I'm not tired when I'm doing this next time. I'll promise you guys. Alright, let's continue here. Thank you for the interview, Mr. Gray. The pleasure's been all mine, he says, politely as ever. As I rise, he stands and holds out his hand. Until we meet again, Miss Steele. And it sounds like a challenge or a threat. I'm not sure which. No, I frown. When will we ever meet again? I shake his hand once more, astounded that the odd current between us is still there. It must be my nerves. Mr. Gray. I nod at him, moving with lithe athletic grace to the door. He opens it wide. Just assuring you make it through the door, Miss Steele. He gives me a small smile. Obviously, he's referring to the earlier, lesser than elegant entry into his office. I blush. That's very considerate, Mr. Gray. I snap. His smile widens. I'm glad you find me entertaining. I glower inwardly, walking into the foyer. I'm surprised when he follows me out. Andrea and Olivia both look up, equally surprised. Did you have a coat? Mr. Gray asked. Or Gray asked. A jacket. Olivia leaps up and retrieves my jacket, which Gray takes from her before she could hand it to me. He holds it up and, feeling ridiculously self-conscious, I shrug it on. Gray places his hands for a moment on my shoulders. I grasp at the contact. If he notices my reaction, he gives nothing away. His long index finger presses the button, summoning the elevator, and we stand waiting awkwardly on my part, coolly self-possessed on his. The doors open, and as I hurriedly in, desperate to escape, I really need to get out of here. When I turn to look at him, he's gazing at me. And leaning against the doorway, besides the elevator with one hand on the wall, he is very, very good looking. It's unnerving. Anastasia, he says as a farewell. Christian, I reply, and mercifully, the doors close. Da da da! Well, that is, guys, my ridiculous narration of chapter 1 of 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. And at the end of every chapter that I complete, guys, we'll just do a little bit of like Q&A, or if you want, give me your opinions, And this is what I call my reading kiki, okay? So this is after I read the chapter. And then coming up on, because I'm going to be doing this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So coming up on Thursday, we're going to read chapter 2. Now, if the chapter, guys, is super long, just because, it's hard on my throat sometimes, I'll split it in half and then I'll do the second part. But yeah, we're off to a good start here, guys. I mean, you can just tell that Anastasia, her hormones are raging like a motherfucker. But guys, I just want to say, as some kind of extra side notes talking about 50 Shades of Grey, this book often gets labeled as like hashtag relationship goals, but as we read along, guys, to 50 Shades of Grey, I just want to acknowledge, guys, that the relationship between Anastasia and Christian Grey, it is not a healthy relationship, okay? Now, this book does contain, throughout the trilogy, it does have BDSM in it, okay? And one component of BDSM is you have your submissive and you have your dominant, okay? But the misconception, guys, about the BDSM lifestyle is that the person that is the dom, or the person that is the dominant, is usually like very abrasive and mean and cunty and like bitchy and stuff. And that is not the case, okay? To truly be in the BDSM lifestyle, from my research so far, it's all about mutual respect and respecting boundaries and having those type of rules and regulations, okay? So while we're reading 50 Shades of Grey, guys, I just want to acknowledge that, because when this book series came out, it gave a completely opposite interpretation of how the BDSM community is really like, and there are different layers to BDSM. Some people like it more intense than others. Some people like a light kind of BDSM. Other people, they go more extreme with it. So I just wanted to recognize that, because a lot of times, especially for those of you bookish freaks that are beginners to the romance genre, this is like the first book series that people usually recommend. But I always give like a word of caution with this book series, because the relationship between Christian Grey and Anastasia, guys, it's not a healthy relationship. Even in the beginning here in chapter 1, you can see that Christian is just a dick by definition. Now, don't get me wrong, there are women who are attracted to alpha males, okay? And these are men that are like really confident and they want to take charge and take control. But the other thing too, guys, is just because you are attracted to guys that would be considered alpha male in the romance book trope, that doesn't mean that women, or we are LGBTQIA friendly on this program. I've been an ally to the LGBTQIA plus community for a very long time, but just because you're with someone like that, that doesn't mean that you like being treated like shit, okay? There are men that are more alpha and they are just more confident, and there are women who are submissive. And it's not submissive in more of a like abusive sense. They're just submissive because they prefer the man to take the lead, okay? Just like how there are women who take on more of what they would say, and I would say more in the context of American society, taking on more of a dominant and masculine role. But the thing that's really interesting within American society is it's kind of uncomfortable when the roles are reversed. So in the future I'll be reviewing books like that where the woman is more like, you know, leading or headstrong, as this trope is called headstrong female. And Painted Harlot is adding here to the opinion here, and Painted Harlot says, I would run out of that building if a man came at me like that. We be feeling it, but we be running. Yeah, like, see, to me, if a man came at me like half-ass like that, I would not be getting turned on at all. I would be like, okay, this interview is over, bitch, you know? But some women, though, you know, and this is my, like, sometimes, guys, I can, as confident as I am, I can get like that sometimes, you know? If I really, really like a guy, I can get a little more subdued or a little bit more submissive because of, like, my pure attraction to him. Because some women, some women are like just, you know, balls to the wall. Like for me, if I like a guy, I'll show the interest. But for me, I'm that kind of woman, to be honest. I'm that type of woman too, where it's like, I like it when the guy like takes interest in me and then we kind of reciprocate it. But for me, like, a lot of my friends, they're always telling me like, oh, Amira, like, you know, you need to be the man and take initiative. And that's not, to me, that's not what I feel is a healthy relationship. I feel like a relationship, especially the formation of it or the attraction of it, both people have to be attracted, you know? And then women were kind of in this unique situation, I would say specifically in American society, is when a woman is confident, she's kind of seen as, you know, she wants to be a man. Because I get this a lot. I get, not all men, but I get a lot of men who come on, you know, who come check out my show, and they tell me that the reason why, you know, I cannot meet a man is because, like, I'm very, like, as they would say, I'm not feminine enough. So here's the thing I want to make sure to be clear with, okay? Femininity does not equal submissiveness. So let's be clear on that, okay? Just because a woman is shy, or maybe, you know, or a guy has a more reserved personality, that doesn't mean that they don't lack confidence. That's just how their personality is. But for women specifically, I don't think women should be punished for having a strong personality. And this is the reason why I really do not like 50 Shades of Grey, because if Anastasia Steele was just, you know, shy and bashful, okay, fine, that's her personality. But the way that the books like portray women, I don't agree with it, because it makes it look like she's like this damsel in distress, and like Christian Grey is like her saving grace. And to me, that's not a healthy relationship, because there's a difference between being there for someone in times of crisis versus being there because, you know, you want to gain clout by helping people. You know, that's not what, to me, humanitarianism is about. And I don't think you should be a humanitarian when it comes to love, because to me, that makes me feel like you don't, you know, you just putting up a front versus sincerely trying to get to know me. And then through time, a natural chemistry will build if we are compatible for each other. And the only way you can know that, guys, is you have to spend time with that person. But the other thing is you got to have transparent conversations. Now, a lot of dating experts will say, oh, you know, either women have to be more assertive or more on the traditional side of the spectrum. You know, I've read, you know, women need to like maybe take a step, you know, take a little bit of a step back, or let the guy lead a little bit. But to me, and this is just me, this is how I see it. I feel it's half and half, okay? Because on one hand, I'm a little more traditional, where I do want to see that man take the initiative to get to know me and vice versa. But I also pay attention to the actions of how that man treats me, because I am a very confident, strong woman. Okay. So for me, I need to be with a man that can respect that, or a man that would not have a problem sometimes taking the back seat when I need to make a decision, or sometimes I may need to take the back seat because maybe I'm not knowledgeable in it and maybe he's knowledgeable in it, and then we can come together and make a consensus on things. So that's the thing sometimes, guys, that's difficult in relationships, is sometimes you need to learn when to take a step back, because maybe your partner has a little more knowledge on the topic than you do. Other times you need to learn how to compromise, where you come to this happy medium. And to me, that's what a healthy relationship is being transparent. You got to have real conversations. If something is pissing you off, you should be able to go to your partner and talk to them transparently. It could be whether it's sex, whether it's money, whatever it is. You really have to be transparent. And as much as the dating experts say to not be like that, fuck that. I think it is important when you are taking time, to beat your face, look good, and this is your time, and your time is valuable. So when you dating, or you're going out on a date, whatever it may be, you need to present who you really are from the get-go. So that way you're not wasting their time, you're not wasting your time, and then that determines whether you want to go forward or not, or if you want a second date, a third date, etc., etc. And just because a woman is straightforward with her feelings, or someone is straightforward with their feelings, that doesn't mean that that woman is masculine in nature. Because I get this a lot. I constantly have men being like, oh, that's why no one wants you, because you act like a dude. It's not me acting like a dude. That's just my personality. Now, I will say, I have more guy friends than female friends, and I have my reasons for that, and I'll talk about that definitely, especially with this book, because sometimes women do get along with each other, but if women are not being transparent within their own friendships, women tend to get catty and they like to keep receipts. Okay. And this is sometimes, and don't get me wrong, men do keep receipts, but they do it in a different way sometimes. But that's why for me, I have more male friends than female friends. Is just because I get along more with men than, not saying I don't have female friends, but that's just how I am. And for me, I take the time to try and understand the male perspective. So that's why a lot of times guys will say that I am I think like a man sometimes, when that's not it. That's just my personality. When you're a strong, confident woman, you're just gonna have to get used to, ladies, that people are going to stereotypically place you as being masculine in mindset. Or if you have a lot more guy friends than female friends, that might also occur. But this is, for me personally, I have a lot more male friends than female friends, because when I had tons of female friends, the drama, honey, the cuntiness, and I just couldn't deal with that. If I'm hanging out with one friend, then the other one is like getting all in their feelings, then I'm hanging out with them. With men, this is one thing, ladies, there are exceptions to the rule, because we keep it real here, right? But guys will tell you, that's the thing I like. If they want to hang out, they'll be like, all right, let's hang out. If they don't want to hang out, they're like, oh, hey, you know what, let's try a different time. There's none of this riff-raffing. That's the problem sometimes with female friendships that I've had. This is not to say that women cannot get along with each other. It's just that women have this issue with the transparency of friendship. You need to be straightforward about how you feel about things, you know? And if that friend gets in their feelings, okay, well, they're in their feelings, but at least you have addressed the beef. But sometimes with women, we let it fester and fester until it's just this giant, like, clusterfuck clapback, you know? And, oh, okay, we got some more interesting opinions here. So we have Painted Harlot says, we love how American men usually say they want a woman who is strong, but then one comes along and they say that they are problematic. They want a sub on the streets and a dom in the sheets. That is a very interesting perspective, Painted, because sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel because I'm confident in my sexuality. I'm confident in what I, and that has come, guys, with maturity. Okay. I wasn't always like this. Okay. Sometimes, I'm human. Sometimes I have feelings of being insecure because I'm plus size. Right. And guys, let me tell you, we're going to be checking out some really cool, like BBW romances and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why I wholeheartedly support the BBW, or as they say, big beautiful woman, genre within romance books, is for that very reason, because big people need love too. There's always this perception, like when you watch the Bachelor, or you watch any of these love dating kind of shows, it's always skinny people. And then they did have a while back, I think it was called, what was the name of that show? It was a plus size dating show. I forgot the name of it now, but that show was the complete opposite. It was just a bunch of fat people on TV complaining about how nobody loves them, and they were all like, just depressed and shit like that. And it was a bad representation, in my opinion, of plus size dating. I do respect them for acknowledging some of the mental health issues that comes with dating. Yeah, more to love. Thank you. But I'm glad they recognize that, dating can affect your mental health and stuff like that. And once again, as a disclaimer, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just speaking from my experience. But this is the portrayal that like plus size people have to deal with all the time. Like, we're always in this like mindset, like, oh, nobody loves us. All these skinny women get everything, and does that happen? Yeah, but guys, times are different now, okay? Like, I mean, there's a whole genre of books that are just dedicated to size acceptance and love, and I'm loving it, guys. These plus size women are getting in these books, okay? They best life, okay? They are getting some fine, like, military man, if you into that, some fine, chef daddy, well, maybe that's just the type I'm into. Guys, let me tell you, that's like most of the romance books I read are like where the guy is like in their 40s and 50s. Like, that's my thing. I just like older men. That's just me. But and we have Riri. Hey, what's up? Welcome. And but yeah, that's the issue. That, and I'm not saying all men, because I know men are gonna be like what the fuck, Amira, But this is just from my experience with some men, is like they say that they're like, hey, I want a strong, confident woman. I want a woman who tell me what she wants in the bedroom, and all this stuff. And then when some of them meet a woman like that, why do you backpedal? Like, what's the backpedaling for? Wouldn't you want, if I was a man, right? I would want a lady who's secure in herself and she can handle her own, and we work together. But guys, to be honest, there are just some men who do like a submissive woman. They want to take the lead, and be the leader, and she's like the secondary, so there are relationships like that. But the difference is, though, those relationships are healthy, okay? In 50 Shades of Grey, once again, this is not a healthy relationship. There are some parts of the trilogy where, there is some type of balance, but it's mainly like, you can already feel like in chapter 1, like Christian is overpowering her, not giving her a chance to like breathe. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just want to acknowledge that, because a lot of times women who are really strong and secure in themselves, they are always being told that they're masculine, and it has nothing to do with masculine or feminine. You know, it's to me, it's your personality and how you want to present yourself. And I think that if a woman is secure, like, hey, this is what I want, I think that should be respected, because men get that same clout. You know, when guys are, guys are taught that to be secure, you know, you got to handle your own. And when women are self-sufficient, that's seen as a masculine quality, and that's not it. I think whether man, woman, whatever, you should be self-sufficient. You know, you should be able to handle your business and know how to conduct yourself. And, you know, to me, I feel be a distinguished and respectable person. But yeah, that's why I love those plus size books. Like, some of them, they have a really strong woman or a really strong, male protagonist, and they are getting that love, and they're successful, and they're, well put together. And we need to continue showing these types of books that have size diversity. It doesn't have to be two extremes. It's not like two skinny people in love, which is fine, and then like two fat people in love. In the real world, that's not always the case. There's a mixture, and then, sometimes I get guys who want to clown me on here and be like, you're fat, who would want you? And then I have to give them what I like to call the clapback reality check and be like, there are tons of men out here, okay, that be loving the BBWs or women who are not the supermodel type, okay? And in the plus size community, guys, just to keep it real, there is size diversity, because a lot of times when you say BBW, it's like you gotta be, thick, you gotta be as big as like a construction site, and that's not always the case. All right, you can have, there are smaller plus size women, there are plus size women and men are, shout out to the big handsome males, BHMs as they're called. So I really feel that before you say that you're attracted to something, I personally feel you should research so that you know what you're attracted to. Because a lot of times I hear guys say, and I'm talking heterosexually here, but it happens, shout outs to, of course, once again, the LGBTQIA plus community happens to, to them as well. But nothing is more frustrating in my case when you a plus size woman and that guy's like, yo, I really like plus size women, but then half of the women they dated are skinny. Like, I'm not here to be your romantic experiment. I'm here to want to pursue something with you, or getting to know you and that type of stuff. So to the guys out there, if you're new to plus size, men, women, whatever you're into, please do not treat us as an experiment. Okay, I am not here to be your experiment. Okay, I have feelings. I'm a human being just like you are. Okay, and Painted also says, this is why you're my favorite streamer. You know what? I keep it real. I'm fair though. Okay, I let the guys know and I let the ladies know too. Okay, because the other thing too, ladies, is I'm gonna keep this unpopular opinion, but guys do not like to be with a woman that's difficult. It's not bitchy though. Okay, bitchy and difficult are two different things. But if you don't articulate, because you gotta talk to guys straight up. You gotta let them know. If there's something that is bothering you, don't internalize it. You gotta let them know. Be like, hey honey, can I sit down? Can we talk? I just want to discuss something with you. I just wanted to kind of wait because I wanted to articulate my feelings with you, but this is something that upset me, and I just want to let you know why this upset me, and you have that. You don't walk out on each other. You don't say fuck you bitch, okay? And that's not how you handle a relationship. A relationship is a responsibility. Okay, just like when people get married, I always say that. I'm like, marriage is a responsibility. Okay, it's cute. You had your ceremony, you had your nice looking whatever outfit you wearing, everything was popping. But once that ceremony is over, guess what, bitch? It's you and me. And it's our relationship. It's not our family's relationship. They are an extension of it, you know. But now we in for each other here. So we need to have open communication, dialogue, and everything like that. So very important, y'all. Okay. And oh, Painted says there are plenty of videos for people to experiment with, period. Yeah, that's why if a guy is interested in me, y'all, you know, I don't hold back. Now, my friends say I should be more reserved. Fuck that. For me, if I'm taking time to get good looking, you know, looking popping, put on my best makeup, whatever, if I'm taking time to get to know you, okay, I'm gonna let you know who I am, okay? And the man that's right for me will be strong to handle that. This is why, I'll be honest, guys, this is why I'm attracted to a lot of like pro wrestlers and like comedians and stuff like that, is because a lot of times those guys just, they transparent too. They're like, okay, this is what I do, you know, this is who I am, you know. So that's my thing. I like men that are transparent like that. Like they have no filter. They keep it real. We keep it real with each other, you know. Accountability is important, guys, you know, but there's a way that you articulate it where you're still respecting your partner, you know. That's the difference. So this is why I always tell guys, you're new to plus size women, or if you're trying something different, you know, the same thing I could say is with interracial relationships. Okay, I date interracially, you know, so I support it. So for me, you know, before I went into understanding interracial relationships, I studied it. I made sure, I'm like, okay, this is something that this is something that's naturally attractive to me. You know, I'm not coming into it like an experiment. And that's the other thing, okay? Do not use interracial dating as an experiment. I am not your experiment. I am a human being, okay? So I have to do, guys, a separate episode just talking about that, y'all. Like, you know, dating is not an experience. Going out with someone who's a different size than you, not an experiment. Going out with someone, regardless of weights, I don't care if they white, my people, Asian, Latinx, etc., not an experiment, you know? So this is the reason why, you know, to the guys out there, sometimes when, you know, I get guys who are like, you know, why is it that, like, for example, you know, some women of color are defensive when it comes to other men of different races approaching them? Is not that sometimes they just want to be defensive like that. Maybe they had bad experience with interracial dating where the person was treating them like some kind of experiment. So that's the reason why they're a little more defensive, you know, because you gotta, like, if someone's being defensive, guys, it's because they're protecting their heart, you know. So you have to approach them in a way that's respectable. Now, if they come at you sideways, then that person's not right for you. Then you just keep it moving, you know. But yeah, these are valuable lessons, guys, that I have had to learn in my life, that, you know, if I say that I'm attracted to men of different races and stuff, I have to be sincere with that. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, I date interracially because I want to try it. No, these are people's feelings coming into play, you know? And there's a lot that comes with interracial dating. You have to, there's a lot of challenges that you have to deal with. Just like when you're dating plus size, someone's plus size or a big handsome male, you know, you got to deal with people staring at you. You got to deal with people sneakering. You got to deal with people like unfairly judging and questioning your relationship. So you have to be strong for each other, you know, and you have to be like, hey, it doesn't matter. This is our relationship. Fuck anybody who has an issue with it, you know? And you need to know, guys, how you deserve to be treated. Because, like, as you can see, going back into it to chapter 1, There were many times that Anastasia, you know, she knew how she was supposed to feel, but then she kind of like tried to check herself. And to me, I feel like if you attracted to a guy, let those feelings, you know, come out. You know, now you want it to come out in a way that's organic. You don't want to come off desperate, because here's the thing about some men, it's not all men, but there are men who, like, they feed off of this shit. Like, they love, you know, they love it when women are just like hot and bothered. You know, there's like an arrogancy that comes with it. Those are the men that I'm not attracted to. You know, the men that I'm attracted to, I like those nice guys, you know, who are respectable. You know, they respect women, they respect their mom. Okay, so that's another thing, ladies. Okay, like, watch how he treats his mom. That's how you gonna be treated. Just saying. Sometimes, you know, and everybody has a different relationship, right, with their family, but I do pay attention to that. Like, I pay attention. If a guy likes me, I do observe how he is around women. If he's treating women like they're a dinner plate, I'm gonna be treated like a dinner plate. Okay, just saying. And I tell the guys the same thing too. Like, watch how that woman interacts with men. If they are like, oh, you know, treating guys like they're some kind of like two-piece chicken or something, you know, then you gonna be treated like a two-piece. And I'm not talking in that delicious way, okay? So these are things, guys, that you have to be aware of, not only with, you know, as we go along in the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, but this is stuff, guys, that I've learned in life, that, like, if you're attracted to something, you will be questioned about it. So, like, to be Pacific here, to kind of, we'll conclude it and do a wrap up here in a moment. But, like, for example, you guys know, or maybe you don't, I like Asian men, for example. I am really attracted, guys, to Asian men. Okay, I am. It's my preference. Okay, you know, and it's okay to have preferences. As a side tangent, do not be ashamed of your preferences. And if people want to judge you for your preferences, let them judge. It's your relationship. It's what you're attracted to. Okay, and I won't lie, guys, there were periods in my life where I was like, okay, you know, maybe I have to keep in the fact that I am, you know, attracted to men of different races, because sometimes you can be made to feel that way, but other times it's you being your worst enemy. So maybe it's just coming with maturity. I just told myself, I was like, look, this is what I'm attracted to. Okay, this is what I'm attracted to. This is eventually going to be my relationship, so I'm not going to care, you know. Now, I will say I do respect, of course, my, you know, my parents' opinion, because I don't know, they gave me life. So I do value their input, you know, because my parents, they have experience, they've been there, done that. So they are an excellent judgment of good character. Okay. So that's the exception. Okay, or if I had someone that's like a mentor or someone who really knows me well, that's an exception. Like, to me, overall, if you like what you like, you have preferences, that doesn't make you weird, because for a very long time, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought something was wrong with me. I'm like, why do I like Asian men like this? Or why do I like Latino men like this? Like, it was just because that's, and then on top of that, Asian men, Latino men, and oh, shout out to the white chocolate daddies, how you doing? But a lot of foreign men are attracted to me. So in my mind, this is how I came to that conclusion, guys. I was just like, okay, these men are attracted to me, so therefore I'm gonna be attracted back to them. It doesn't mean that I hate my culture, or I disapprove of, you know, my ethnicity or my race. This is just what I'm attracted to, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Like, do not be ashamed of that. if you have preferences, everybody's different. Like, so me, guys, you know me, I'm out with my preferences. everybody, you know, my friends joke with me, like, they're just like, I just don't get it. Like, your attraction to just men with different looks and stuff, I like, you know, it's not for me, it's not my cup of tea, you know. But then I explain it to them that way, you know, that it's a natural attraction for me, and I've had that attraction for some time. I just really like Asian men. I really like Asian men. I do. It's sincere. It's not because BTS is popular right now, okay? Like, I have always, you know, or you know, like Latin X-Men, man. Yes, squad, okay? Like, I've always been, you know, I find actually one of my favorite men right now, he's a pro wrestler. I just have a thing for pro wrestlers or some shit. But his name is well, his wrestling name is Angel Garza. Yes, bitch. The charisma, the sex appeal, yes, go on. All right. And then I also like myself some Drew McIntyre. Oh my gosh, guys, I need to go to Scotland. Like, what the fuck am I doing? No. But yeah, he's fine as hell. Like, I like the older daddies. That's just me, you know. But my tastes vary, guys. I like goth guys, you know, like what's his name? Like Cami Joe. He's this really popular like Japanese rock singer. He has the most beautiful hair. And I like Prince, and like, you know, I have different like, I'm all like, that's why my friends make fun of me, because I like guys like all over the spectrum, you know. That's just me. But for some reason, I just come back to I come back to my Asian daddies. I come back to, you know, the Latin X-Men and the white chocolate daddies, you know. That's just because they were attracted to me. So, you know, and I'll talk about that, guys, in a separate episode, like the stages of interracial attraction, because a lot of times people think that when you date interracially is because you hate your race. That's not it. Like, it wasn't it for me. It was just because I was like, men of different cultures, foreign men are attracted to me, and like, you know, for me, and like I said, older men being attracted to me. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna just be like, I'm just gonna sit here in denial? No, if you like me, all right, let's get it popping. You know what I mean? So you have to have that mindset, guys. And then sometimes things that you might be closed-minded on, you meet someone wonderful and they change your narrative. And that's what happened to me too. You know, like, for a while, I'm not gonna lie, for a while I hesitated a little bit, you know, dating and being pursued interracially, because I didn't want for people to think I was not being sincere. But then I had to tell myself, I was like, why do I care what other people think? Like, if this is what I'm attracted to, let's get it popping, you know? So very important, guys. Always be yourself, love yourself, be the strongest, confident person that you can be, you know. And then, of course, you guys know I'm Christian, but we accept all faiths here, you know, on the program. But for me personally, that's something that's also something I have to look into as well, and that is important. So, you know, if that person respects the Christian values that I have. So these are things, guys, that you have to pay attention to. You know, yeah, the guy or the lady, whoever looks good, but do they match up with your rhetoric? Do they match up with the characteristics that you respect in yourself? And that's how a good relationship works, guys. Like, when I look at my parents, for example, I mean, they've been together for forever, but that's because they understand these things, the mutual respect and the transparency of communication. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, we keeping it real. I'm spilling all the knowledge, honey. Okay. And Painted says, it was the Missy Elliott music video, sis. Flip it and reverse it. All right. Cemented it for all of us. Yeah, it's true, but it's still hard, though. I will say, for people of color dating interracially, it does have its challenges. And it's also contingent too on who you're dating interracially. So for example, I'm just going to keep it real. You know, black women and white men. In the last couple of years, there's been a lot, because you guys know I love TV and you know, entertainment in general. But for the last couple of years, and this is nothing new, but there's been a lot of TV shows showing black women pursuing white men, and it brings up a very challenging situation because of our history, okay? You know, because of slavery, and these are all of the things you have to put into account. So if you are a black woman and you are dating a white man, okay, the thing that you have to kind of have to realize is like, okay, people may judge us for being together. Does it matter? No. But there is a historical context. So I would say if a white guy is interested in me, I would have that conversation, because sometimes maybe things may happen and maybe he has the knowledge, you know, or maybe in this case, maybe he doesn't, but I would have that conversation. And I've done that, guys. Like, there was a white guy who was interested in me. I sat him down and I said, hey man, I just want to have a transparent conversation with you, and I just want for you to understand that, you know, I am a woman of color, you know, and I just want to let you know that us being together is going to be an interesting experience. You may have people, you know, staring at us and things like that. So and it's because of the historical context of what occurred between our people. You know, things are different now, but we cannot neglect the history that caused the unfortunate division sometimes between our people. So I just wanted to really be transparent with you, you know, to understand that, you know, I love you with all my heart, and we have to really be strong for each other. And to me, guys, that's what a real man is that when you're dealing with situations of adversity, he should make you feel protected, and vice versa. And when you're dating interracially, I don't care what kind of pairing, it's very important, you know, for you guys to protect each other, because there's a lot that, and we'll talk about that in the future, especially when I am reviewing interracial romance books, because a lot of times, like, people just look at the surface and be like, oh, cute, it's a, you know, a black woman with an Asian man or whatever. Shout outs, hashtag AMBW romance books. Yes, go on. I'm a mess, y'all. But a lot of times when we read these books, we're just looking at the surface of the romance. But sometimes, guys, you gotta look deeper, and you have to treat the romance like it's a relationship, because that's the other thing. Sometimes the interracial fantasy outweighs that it's still a relationship. You know what I mean? So, guys, I could talk about it all day. I love, like, just talking about dating and relationships and life and all that. And I'll share with you guys a lot of lessons that I had to learn myself in regards to romance. But yeah, like I said before, guys, if you are dating interracially, you gotta have that conversation when things get more serious. You gotta understand that you're coming from two different cultures, and there are gonna be things that you may know about each other, but there may be things that you don't know about each other, and you're gonna have to have that conversation. And that's what I do. You know, if a white guy likes me, or, you know, Latinx guy likes me, or, you know, if a guy from a different culture likes me, unless, you know, they have that knowledge and history, I do, if they're, you know, if I'm their first, you know, interracial, you know, relationship, you got to have that conversation. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna be difficult, but if that person really loves you, they should understand. But to be with, you know, like, for example, like the example that I made, you're a black man, for example, let's say you're with a white woman, there are a lot of stereotypes, you know, about interracial relationships. So you do have to have that conversation that, hey, I just want to let you know this is my place in society. So when these situations occur, this is why it happens, you know? And I just want for you to understand that, and we have to recognize that. And then we answer questions. Like, you know, the guy that liked me, he had a lot of questions. He's like, oh, hey, I want to learn more about your culture. You know, is this okay? See, that's when you know someone is interested in you, is number one, they respect your culture, whether you're white, except whatever. Number two, they're willing to learn, you know? So like for me, you know, I said the same thing. I was like, oh, hey, tell me about your culture, you know, and things like that. And a lot of times, like my white friends, some of them will be like, you know, what do you want to know? And I always say to them, I was like, hey, white people have a culture too. You know, you got people who are Irish, they're Scottish, you know, you have people, you know, and usually the term white is the same term, guys, like black too. It's just this homogenized term to describe different people. So even the word white is a stereotype. You know, people don't talk about this a lot, but it is a stereotype, you know, because people from Europe, it's a completely different history than the history in America. They're very, very different, you know. So this is why, guys, if you date interracially, make sure become more educated on the subject, because it's very important, you know. And you're putting yourself in a little bit, there's some things you can't put yourself in their shoes, you know, but a lot of times there are some things that you can, and that's by having those type of, you know, transparent you know, conversations. So we'll see, guys, in chapter 2 what happens, of course, to Anastasia and Mr. Gray. But yeah, guys, I love doing this show. I love having these you know, honest and straightforward and transparent kind of conversations, because you know, I think it's really important, especially in this time in society where, you know, we're learning how to have better relations with each other. But yeah, if you date interracially, just, you know, understand, if this is new to you, you know, you got to educate yourself. You got to really have these transparent conversations. Like, you know, the guy that liked me, he had questions for me, I had questions for him, and it actually made our union tighter because we were so comfortable in having those type of conversations, or joking around and things like that. So yeah, it's very important, guys, that everybody has a culture. Everybody. My people have a culture, white people have a culture. Wherever you're from, you have a culture, you know. And I think it's important to articulate it, and then also be proud of where you come from. It's very important, especially when you're in a relationship with someone. If they really care about you, they'll want to know these things about you, you know, because every culture has different customs. They're called cultural norms, you know. And that's something that I share. If a guy likes me, I share that aspect, you know. I was really fortunate though, guys. Once there was a guy that liked me, he actually studied my culture. I was like, you know, I was so impressed. Oh man, that just made my heart melt. And as you can see, my heart rate went up. But no, if you guys have any questions for me last couple minutes here, you know, definitely let me know. But yeah, there's, you know, if you have preferences, or, you know, show your true personality, guys. Do not listen to some of these dating experts that be on some bullshit, you know what I mean? And they be like, oh no, you gotta be like an extension of yourself. Well, what's the point of dating? Like, the whole point of dating is you want to be yourself, and then you know, eventually you feel blessed, and then you meet someone that actually likes you for you, you know. But when you have to be something that you're not, that defeats the purpose. That's just me. Like, I would want to be in a relationship with someone that's like, hey, I want to be in a relationship with her. Yes, she's hilarious sometimes. Yes, she's crazy as fuck. sometimes, but that's just her personality. No. But no, guys, oh my gosh, yeah, this is great. But we'll see what happens in chapter 2. I think things are just going to go all the way up. I hope so. But no, I enjoy doing this, guys. This is the reason why I have this show, you know, because I wanted to, you know, share my love of, you know, horror books and vampires and steamy and just hot and sometimes trashy romance books. And guys, by high request as well, so many of you guys fell in love with the lovetropes.com website, so I will be picking books off of there too. And you know what I did actually this yesterday in the morning, I actually picked all of the tropes that we're going to be talking about here on the program, and let me tell you, ooh, some of them are they're books that are going out of my comfort zone, guys. Books that I never thought that I would read, because I was like, if I'm gonna go hot and steamy, then I gotta go hot and steamy. So I'll give you a sneak peek, guys, to conclude here today. So some of the tropes that I picked were, oh my gosh, okay, so we got age gap, we got characters over 40, which are like the romantic interest is over 40 years old. I also picked college romance. I picked the student and professor romance. Guys, there is a trilogy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Guys, this trilogy, y'all are going to be gagging. It is so, well, first off, it is so steamy that, I mean, I was reading the synapses and smoke was coming out of my ears. It's so good. So that's the next one I'm going to be reading, because right now I'm currently reading the Vampire Kisses book series by Ellen Shriver. I got 3 more books to go. Okay. Then I am reading book 3 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. What is that one called? Lover Awakened. And now, of course, doing the reading out loud of 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. Oh, and Painted says, the trashier, the better. We are getting excited for this book series. Ooh! Oh, guys, I'm shocking myself by some of the stuff I'm reading. And y'all, the book that I am reading, wait, let me see. Okay, I gotta talk about it. Coming up tomorrow, no, on Thursday. I'm gonna keep y'all in suspense. Guys, I was working out while reading this book and it made me sweat more, honey. Like, I was turning into an oven with a turkey basting in it. But for those of you who are maybe vegetarian and vegans, tofu or something and vegetables steaming. Oh man, I was like on my treadmill reading this and I was like, guys, I was like blushing on the inside, because you know I'm dark as hell. So I was like, this is naughty. This is like the naughtiest book I have ever read. Guys, 50 Shades of Grey, vanilla, honey. Okay, vanilla. All right, this book, oh my gosh, guys, this book was insane, and I cannot wait until I read some of the quotes from this book. Guys, this book was actually sent to me. It's insane, but it's insanely good. And guys, it's a nice quick read, and the author is everything. Like, the author is fab. So you know what, if I have the energy, guys, tomorrow I have to talk about this book. because number one, it's that dang good. Number two, it got me moist. It seriously did. Like, I was on that treadmill, I was like a mass, honey, a mass. Okay, but yeah, I love trashy books. Now, I will say though, when it comes to sometimes, you know, in the romance like booktube like community, or just in the romance book community, a lot of times right now it's like historical romance, and like I've heard a lot of like paranormal romance and stuff, but a lot, and there are, you know, people who like of course cover the steamy reads and stuff, but they face a lot of criticism, and I will be doing an opinion piece talking about that, because I don't think anybody should be criticized for reading trashy steamy books, because that's a demographic. There are some romance readers that love a trashy, steamy, you know, type of book. And oh, of course, we got Daddy. Okay. And Daddy says such a steamy book. Oh no, my friend, this book is vanilla. I have read stuff that you guys are gonna be like, that's my gagging face, like, no, the faces I make on this damn show. But yeah, guys, there's some books where I've read, I was like, this, should I talk about this on my show? Because motherfuckers are going to judge me so bad. But then I was like, you know what, do I give a fuck? No, I don't. So yeah, so those are some of the tropes, guys. I got some BDSM romances that I'm like, woo! I'm like, this is some good stuff. Then I also picked the trope of, yeah, like I love like the college professor and like student romances. Those are just they are very good. What else have I been reading to? Or some oh, Daddy. I also do like what they call like the age gap romances, but for me, preferably, I do like it when the man is older. Like, yes. There was a book, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, I do like the older daddy romances. Yes. Like that's my thing. And then I also read a lot of paranormal romance. Ooh, there's so many good paranormal romance too. Black Dagger Brotherhood, guys, is okay. So many of y'all put this book series on a pedestal. So that's why I bought it, because I was like, I want to know why. Like, why is this, like, so many women be getting moist over this. So many women be reading the books and they're just like, oh, you know? And I'm just like, what is the big deal? Okay, vampire warriors, okay, I get it, that's kind of hot, but like, I want to know what the big deal is. Tell me the tea. Like, you know, why do you guys like Black Dagger Brotherhood? Y'all be going hard for that. But for me, like, I started really like very light, okay? You know, I started with let's see, what was the first romance book that really got me in? Oh, I read a book, guys, by Tessa Dare. She's like one of the queens of historical romance, and it's called The Duchess Deal. Oh, it was so good. It was really good. It's about this well, she's a seamstress, and she made like a wedding dress for the Duke's wife, but then she was like, bitch, I ain't marrying you. Bye. And then she went, as my people would say, skirt. So she was just not, she was done. She like threw over her hat and called it a weekend. Okay. So then, you know, he's kind of like scarred up and stuff because he was a soldier in, I believe, yeah, the Civil War, might be wrong. But he, you know, he's very kind of particular about her looks, and she's like, I don't give a fuck, I think you look good. And he's like, really? Oh. So yeah, that book is really good. So that's what as soon as I read that, guys, I was like, I think I'm gonna get a whole collection of romance books. Yeah. And then I went from there, and then I just went to smut level. I love trashy, steamy reads. I know I'm gonna get judged so heavily, but it's like, I don't care. I think these books should be respected just in the same light as the regular sweet, clean romances, which if you like those, hey, more power to you, nothing wrong with that. But like, I just think that steamy, trashy romance reads get a bad rap. They really do. You know, because like there's this assumption that it's just trashy to be trashy, but no, guys, it actually takes a lot of talent to write something like that. And it's not even trashy. It's like some of these books, guys, that I'm going to be sharing with you, they are well written, like very well articulated, and oh my gosh. But yeah, the one that I am reading, guys, I thought I ate like I drank a whole bottle of hot sauce, because I was sweating. I was like just drips of sweat. All right, like I was sweating more than a Zumba dance routine. Okay, I love Zumba, guys. That's like my thing. Like I love dancing, even though sometimes I get out of breath, but I don't even care. I'm just like, yeah, feel the music, yeah. I'm crazy. And no, I'm not on drugs, because I get that all the time. People think because I have this energy, like I'm on drugs, and no, I'm high on life, guys. I'm just a very energetic person. That's just my personality. That's just who I am, you know? But yeah, so yeah, I like the older man. Yes, I love those. They call them like older man daddy romances. Oh, that's I just like saying that too, like the older daddy romances. Yeah. But yeah, some of those are really fun. You know, you just have to keep an open mind with some of those tropes, like BDSM too. Like, and I recently started reading a genre that I canceled, guys, a little bit, because it was just crazy to me at first, but once I started studying it more, it's fun to read, and that is dark romance. Y'all. Y'all, there is some interesting dark romances I've read where I was just like, good God, wow, you know, that's pretty steamy. Steam's coming out of my ears. Yes. Okay. But all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I try to keep this show to at least either an hour and a half or 2 hours. Thanks for checking out, guys, my reading out loud of 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. Yeah, we're gonna continue chapter 2 on Thursday, but guys, also check out my other show, which is called the Curvy Metalhead Show. So if you like rock metal music, or if you just want an eclectic show, that is the show that I do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then I do this show, Bookshade, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But you know, I try to update, guys, as much as I can, and I love having this heart rate, because y'all some of y'all are freaks, man. Some of y'all be like, ooh, she turned on, and I'm like, of course I'm turned on. Okay, what, well, depending on what, you know, you're into, but like, you know, from a heterosexual standpoint, what woman wouldn't want a nice, successful man that has a treasure trail and some nice abs and some chest hair? I mean, well, maybe that's just me, because, you know, women, we like all, you know, all different types of men. Okay, different strokes for different folks. But man, I'm like, I don't blame myself if my heart rate be going up. Am I a freak? Yes, I'm a freak. Okay, no shame. There is no shame. Okay, I'm not. Yes, okay. So yeah, that's like my favorite type of like romances I like reading too. Them sexy guys with all that body hair. I like some body hair though. Well, no, I like a lot though. Maybe I'm the exception to the rule, because a lot of women are like, shave it off, and I'm just like, keep it growing. that just makes me laugh. Like, I just, and don't get me wrong, like, to me, if you like me, I like you. But yeah, I like me a hairy man. That's just me personally. So yeah, a lot of times I be reading them romances. I'm like, ooh, he has a treasure chest. You got a treasure chest going on. Yes. No, guys, I'm a mess, y'all. Let me get off here because I'm being too damn extra. But guys, thanks so much for watching today's episode of Book Shade, where every day is Halloween. Plus, we read some and review some very steamy and hot romance reads, whether it's historical romance or paranormal romance, or hell, even webtoons from South Korea. There is something maybe that you may like. Of course, you can keep in touch with me the following ways. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram, okay? Which is for Bookshade, it is at Bookshade #1. But yeah, guys, this was a lot of fun. I just like kikiing like this. And just being a hot damn mess for y'all. And oh, Riri says, okay, it was fun. See you tomorrow. Yes. So tomorrow, guys, Curvy Melhead show. And guys, it is, you know what it is? It is Review Wednesdays, where I review whether it's a movie, a TV show, or a bomb ass music album that I think you should enjoy. You will enjoy this one, guys. Hands down, the best R&B album of 2020. Yes, I said it. This lady is amazing. Yes, I know my show is called the Curvy Metalhead Show, but guys, metalheads are eclectic. Okay, we listen to other genres besides rock and metal. Plus, guys, coming up next Wednesday, I have a fabulous Japanese rock review for you guys. Maybe it might be tomorrow. We'll see. I got a lot to review, guys. Oh my gosh. But all right, let me get out of here. Daddy, hey. Thanks so much for following. I appreciate that support, my friend. So yeah, once again, guys, my other show, Curvy Melhead Show, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Bookshade, if you're into those dirty, smutty romance reads, that's gonna be Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we'll have to see what happens in chapter 2 of 50 Shades of Grey, and I'll probably start blushing because once we get past chapter 2, it just gets freaky from there. Good God. But it's a good kind of freaky. It's a good kind of kinky. Okay. All right, there will be no kink shaming, okay, on this program. No. All right, guys, let me get the hell out of here. But guys, like I always say, remember that reading is Halloween. All right, guys, I will be checking you out for the Curvy Melhead show tomorrow. All right, take care, guys.